YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And there's another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Monday, February 3rd, and we have a 10-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I'll let you know my highlighted play of the day. I do this every day for free, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your guys' favorite games in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we cashed our highlighted play of the day. We took the Toronto Raptors plus 5.5 points against the LA Clippers. Raptors got a dominant win at home in Toronto and cashed on the money line. We're now 2-0 on our highlighted plays in February. A fire start, but let's keep the momentum rolling. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are laying 4 points, and the total is 235. The Pistons look good at home against the Bulls yesterday. They are on a back-to-back here, though. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Pistons come into this game at full strength, and then the Hawks are without Bogdan Bogdanovic, Clint Capella, and Jalen Johnson. I'll let you guys know that yesterday, even though the Pistons have been winning games at home, you don't necessarily want to be laying points with them. They're now just 3-6 against the spread as home favorites. We did cash yesterday, but in general, you're down betting on the Pistons in this spot. The Hawks are the type of team, in my opinion, they lose when they're supposed to win and they win when they're supposed to lose. But in this game, I think they're supposed to lose. Trae Young dropped 34 points and 17 assists in the Hawks' last matchup. I told you guys he's mad about getting snubbed from the All-Star game. I think we see more of that from Trae, and that'll keep the Hawks competitive in this game in what should be an evenly matched contest, in my opinion. I'd rather have the points in my back pocket. We're taking the Hawks plus 4 points as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets are laying 4 points, and the total is 217. I always try and let you guys know you shouldn't be laying points with Charlotte at home. They're now 0-2 as home favorites. They've only been expected to win twice at home all season, and they still haven't. They haven't got one win when they were expected to at home. In this spot, the line does make sense to me, though. The Wizards are coming off an outright win against Minnesota in their last game, the plus 750 underdogs we did cash there. But I can't expect the Wizards to start stacking wins. They're still 7-41 on the season. I won't be betting this game personally, but if I had to take a side, I would lean towards the Hornets. They're the better team in this matchup, and they have to get a home ATS win at some point this season. So we're taking the Hornets, laying the 4 points as a lean as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Houston Rockets in New York taking on the New York Knicks. Knicks are laying 5.5 points, and the total is 225. This is an evenly matched contest, in my opinion. Looking at the injury reports, OG Anunoby and Josh Hart are both questionable for the Knicks, and then Sengun is questionable for the Rockets. Fred VanVleet is ruled out for this one. The Rockets have been exceptional road underdogs. We know that. They're now 7-2-1 against the spread in this spot. The Knicks have been solid home favorites, though. They're now 14-10-1 against the spread, laying points at home. They're profitable there. Keep an eye on the injury reports because there's a lot of moving pieces. Sengun, OG Anunoby, I want to know who plays, but I liked what I've seen from the Knicks recently. In Madison Square Garden at home, they haven't stacked many consecutive losses this season. They haven't lost many games at home in a row. They did drop their last game in New York against the Lakers, so this sets up for a nice bounce back spot at home. We're taking the Knicks, laying the 5.5 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Milwaukee Bucks in Oklahoma City taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder are laying 11.5 points, and the total is 232.5. Bucks come into this one on a back-to-back. They got aired out by 13 points yesterday against the Memphis Grizzlies. Now they're facing Oklahoma City, who we know is one of the most dominant home teams in the league. As home favorites, the Thunder are now 15, 7, and 1 against the spread. You've been cashing with them. For the Thunder, Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso, and Cason Wallace are all questionable here. I do want to see if Jalen Williams plays because he is a major piece for the Thunder. Even though this spot sets up for the Thunder to beat down the Bucks, laying 11.5 on Milwaukee with Dame and Giannis playing does make me nervous. I'm going to lean towards Oklahoma City, but this is more of a game I'll be watching as a fan. I don't think we have much of an edge with an 11.5 point spread. But we're taking the Thunder laying 11.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Sacramento Kings in Minnesota taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves are laying 5 points, and the total is 221.5. Kings just made one of the biggest blockbuster trades of the year. They followed up AD and Luka with a banger. It was a three-way trade. The Kings sent out De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin to San Antonio while receiving Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, and a flurry of first and second round picks. I think the Kings came up in this one. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan reunited. I also think the energy is high right now in the Kings locker room. I let you guys know a few days ago that the De'Aaron Fox news was likely weighing on the team. Now they have some clarity with the direction of the team and the direction of this season. We know who the Wolves are as home favorites. They're now 4-16 against the spread, dropping their last game outright to the Washington Wizards. The Wolves injury report is also concerning here. So Naz Reid, Anthony Edwards are both questionable, and then Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo are ruled out. Of course, I want to see if Anthony Edwards or Naz Reid plays, but I think this is a good spot for the Kings to get back to regular scheduled programming. I do want the 5 points in my back pocket, but I think they have a chance to win this game outright. We're taking the Kings plus the 5 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the San Antonio Spurs in Memphis taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are laying 4.5 points, and the total is 240.5. First, I have to mention that Victor Wembanyama is questionable with an illness, so of course we need him to play to even consider taking the Spurs side. Keep an eye on their injury report. Memphis comes into this one on a back-to-back, so their injury report is tentative, but Ja Morant didn't play last night against the Bucks. Grizz still won that game by 13 points, though, so that is a good sign to see. We saw these two teams face off twice in a row on January 15th and January 17th of this year, and the Grizzlies aired them out in both meetings. I'll let you guys know in those that Zach Edey is one of the only players in the league that poses some defensive problems for Wemby. He is 7 feet 4 inches, so Edey's a big guy himself. We need to know if Wemby plays in this one, but even if he does, we know what Memphis does at home. They're now 15-8 against the spread as home favorites, and I think we could trust them. We're taking the Grizzlies laying the 4.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers in Utah taking on the Utah Jazz. Pacers are laying 7 points, and the total is 240. This is going to be a track meet. A lot of points will be scored in this one. The Jazz were our first highlighted play of February, and I'll let you guys know, they're going to be a different animal when healthy. They now have Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, John Collins, and Jordan Clarkson all back in rotation, with Colin Sexton as their starting point guard. Indiana's been mediocre as road favorites. They're now 5-5 against the spread in this spot. When I look at the Pacers in 2025, they haven't won a road game without covering. So they don't win games by 2 or 3 points when they're on the road. They either get a blowout win or an outright loss. Here, I think the Jazz hand them an outright loss. Utah looked good in their last home game. We were on them and we cashed, and I'm not getting off on them that easy. We're taking the Jazz plus 7 points as our next selection of today. And like I said, I'll personally have a few dollars on the money line. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the New Orleans Pelicans in Denver taking on the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are laying 11 points, and the total is 240.5. Pelicans were getting healthy and starting to click, but a lot of that was derailed by DeJounte Murray's season-ending Achilles injury. The Pelicans are now, of course, without DeJounte Murray, also Herb Jones and Brandon Ingram. Daniel Theis and Jordan Hawkins are both questionable. For the Nuggets, Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson both won't play in this one, but those aren't huge additions to the IR. We know what the Nuggets do in the Mile High City. They're now 9-7-1 as home favorites, and that's even below the clip that they normally cash covering at home. Nuggets have failed to cover in 5 games in a row. That sets up for a perfect bounce back spot in Denver. No need to overcomplicate this one. I think the Nuggets get right. We're taking the Nuggets, laying the 11 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Orlando Magic in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are laying 3 points, and the total is 212.5. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Warriors will be without Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga, but those aren't new additions to the IR. Jalen Suggs is questionable for the Magic. We know the Magic are one of the top 5 defenses while being one of the bottom 5 offenses in the league. So like I always tell you guys, take a glance at this under. All Magic games this season have gone under 30 out of 50 times. The under is hitting at a 60% clip. And I've been telling you guys since the beginning of the channel, always take a glance at the Magic under. Looking at the sides here, Orlando's let down in big ways as road dogs this season. They're now just 4-9 against the spread in this spot. You've been losing a pretty penny betting with Orlando. The Warriors on the other side, though, aren't anything special as home favorites. They're just 8-10 against the spread. So you're also losing money betting with Golden State in this spot. The theme for our highlighted plays this month has been redemption. We gave the Jazz a chance to redeem themselves 2 days ago, and they cashed. We gave the Raptors a chance to redeem themselves yesterday. They cash. This 3-point spread tells me that the books are confident that Orlando's going to be competitive in this one. We're giving them a chance to redeem themselves. We're taking the Magic plus the 3 points as our highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Phoenix Suns in Portland taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Suns are laying 5 points, and the total is 227.5. We saw this matchup 2 days ago on February 1st, where the Blazers aired out the Suns 127-108. We were on the Blazers in that one, but the problem for me, similar to the Wizards game today, is now people are expecting Portland to do something. Expectations were low in that last meeting, so they were able to surprise both people betting and the Suns coming out the gate hooping. I think the Suns in this one are locked in and prepared for what they're going to see from the Blazers. Phoenix is inconsistent against the spread, so like I always say, it's hard to back them on a nightly basis. But at the same time, I can't expect the Blazers to beat the Suns twice in a row. So we're taking the Suns, laying the 5 points as our last and final selection of today. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all the support so much. We're now 2-0 on our highlighted plays in February. Hot start, but let's keep it rolling. Let's keep running up these units and get into the bag. You guys know I put in the work every day. I'm going to be doing this for free, so make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo. And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.